from over here where the event was, and you can hear the exhaust. You know, they got on it in a little bit, and I heard two booms.
What did you hear?
I heard a big bang, like something had hit something, and obviously it did. And to Paul's daughter, I'm sorry that this had to happen to you, and while we were there having a great event.
It turns out Paul Walker's daughter was not at that charity event Saturday near the scene of the fiery car crash that took his life.
Richard, one of the owners from A&E, came back up and with Paul Walker's girlfriend, and then they took Paul Walker's daughter off to the side, and you can see her start screaming because this happened.
It turns out Paul Walker's daughter was not at that charity event Saturday.
A lot of the fans that were down at the fundraiser that we were doing were crying. Some of Roger's and Paul's closest friends came up. They couldn't get, past the barricade. When the car engulfed in flames, the police department was fighting with Newt, one of Paul Walker's friends, to get him out. Newt, of course, wanted to die with his friend. He trying to get into this because they were good friends, they were good people. They don't know what Paul would want. I didn't know Paul personally other than meeting him yesterday. Sheriffs, when they pulled up to the scene, they had no idea who was in the car until I explained to them that it was Roger Rojas who was the driver of the car, and it was Paul Walker, and their faces just went pale. They couldn't believe it themselves. So. Explosions, and I looked at him, I said, no, it's not. I said, Brandon's going to call me, we're going to find out. Right when I said that, the phone rang, everybody crowded me like I've got right now, and he started telling me exactly what he witnessed, what he saw, that Paul Walker and Roger were definitely in the car when it exploded, and it was definitely a car accident. So I asked him, I said, so are they dead? He goes, yes, Dad, they are. And when I said that, that's when who I thought was Paul Walker's assistant dropped. She knew, and she started weeping and screaming.
How many laps did they do? Do you know? They're just...
Well, they were only gone for 5 to 6 minutes, so probably one. Who left and who the passenger was in the car when they left at that time. Could they have switched? Could they have switched seats? Sure they could have. They had 20 minutes to do so. I called my son. I said, Brandon, he was right in front of me. I said, hey, get a fire extinguisher, get up the street. He goes, why? I said, I think Paul Walker and Roger were in a bad car accident. He goes, what makes you think that? And I said, look at the smoke. He got a fire extinguisher and took off, came up here. He was one of three to start putting the fire out. I went up to Eric, one of Paul's friends, and Newt, and I said, guys, I know they're in a car accident. Will you please take off? My friend in the Ferrari says, Jim, I'll go up and I'll look. When he took off, Eric took off in his car. Newt was in it. They came up here. They saw the car was smoking. They started putting a fire extinguisher on it because they saw small flames. Newt was trying to get Paul Walker out of this car, his best friend, before the car blew up. Roger's and Paul's closest friends came up. They couldn't get, past the barricade. For a little while, they were driving their car, and I told them exactly. I heard two booms. It sounded like a tire blowing up, and I said, I know it was a car hitting a pole or something. And when they went around the block, we saw them come up the one side, and then we heard them turn right. and then all of a sudden I just heard a big bang. Raised over $1 million for the toys for the organization called Road. They were winding down, they were parking their cars in the warehouse.
They had all been attending a toy drive and car show for Walker's charity, Reach Out Worldwide, to benefit the victims of the typhoon in the Philippines.
At the street sign there. This is taken off of Google Maps from 2012. Now, as you notice, there is a light pole with a 35-mile-an-hour sign on it. The accident scene, you can clearly see the sign says 45 miles an hour. And you also see a big electrical box that's in the place of where that pole was. And you can notice the ground, and I'll show you in photos that the ground has been dug up and that box has been put there in its place. So they had already pulled that pole out of the ground beforehand. He did not hit any pole. He did not hit any trees. He rested up against the tree. But you will notice, and I will show you with pictures, all the trees are intact. None are broken, none are missing. Okay? This whole story is a fraud. I also would like to bring up the fact that I don't believe that there is or was a charity event at all. I believe that Paul Walker was kidnapped or killed prior to this accident, and either put in a car or was not in the car at all when they placed the car up there and then had it blown up. The only witness that seems to have come forward that was at that event was Mr. Jim TORP, who clearly is lying through his teeth, and I've proven it here in this video. There's only one more person that I see in these videos that claims he was there, and that was the TMZ actor Antonio something. And you notice in the warehouse picture of the toys, he's also in that picture. Nobody else is there besides cameramen. The warehouse is empty. Okay? I do not believe there was a charity event that day. I believe that was made up. I don't even know if that was their warehouse. I don't even know too much about this Roger Rodas character. From the information that I'm trying to Google on him, not too much comes up. Not a whole bunch comes up. So this whole thing is a staged event in my eyes. He was sacrificed. He was murdered, no doubt about it. I believe that he was killed either from a drone strike or from a bomb planted in the car. That's my theory. It's the only way cars get this kind of damage is from that alone. No other way. Not in an. I also found this picture of this red car, just like the one that Paul Walker was in, for an Android app with the P on the light pole, or the pole behind it. You think that's a coincidence? I think not. They always show you what they're gonna do, whether it be in cartoons, movies. They always put it in there somewhere. And there's overwhelmingly amounts of this stuff in this case, with Brian from Family Guy getting killed, from the Wheel of Fortune puzzle the week before also. It's all out there. Also the license plates in the car. The car that they claim he got in, they're different license plates. Why is that? I want you to pay attention real quick. This is why I believe Paul Walker did not attend any charity event on Saturday, because the news channel just told you he did on Sunday, not on Saturday. So that if he did any charity event, it would have been last week Sunday. Okay? They don't make mistakes. They put this stuff in there on purpose. It's just up to you to catch it.
Furious movies. On Sunday, he attended his charity toy drive and car show to help victims of last month's typhoon in the Philippines.